Good evening. The meeting is now reconvened to open session. The board would like to remind the public this meeting is being audio and video recorded. It is also available via live stream for the public through links found on the front page of our USD website. The board met previously for closed session. Trustee Counter, will you please read the action taken by the board?
In closed session, the board voted to release one temporary certificated teacher pursuant to Ed Code 44954. The vote was unanimous. In closed session, the board voted to approve Kenneth Gokin for the position of Director of Special Education and Support Programs. The vote was unanimous.
Thank you. Tonight we have Sam Eckenberg from Rocklin High School as our student board rep. Sam, will you please introduce the color guard?
Sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the presentation of the colors by Whitney High School Air Force Junior ROTC Color Guard and the Pledge of Allegiance. The commander and U.S. flag bearer for this evening's color guard is Cadet Major Heaven Green. The state flag is carried by Cadet Major Jackson Snyder. The right guard is Cadet Captain Alex Glasgow. The left guard is Cadet Captain Clayton Hove. The alternates for tonight are Captain Cadet Savannah Bonji and Master Sergeant Jackson Kessler.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, color guard. Thank you. You guys always do such a great job with that. Trustee Miller is not feeling well, so we excuse him today. He has the stomach flu, not fun. We miss having him with us. And also just wanted to welcome and recognize, I can't believe it's actually already, I can see graduation, right, in the future, and I think this is your last meeting as our student rep, right? Also just wanted to tell you I made sure it was okay that I mentioned your dad, and that I hope you feel of our concern and support for your family and for him, and we are praying for his recovery. So please pass that on. Thank you. We will first move to item 5.1, special recognition and presentation portion of the meeting. Chief Dosage.
Good evening, President Price, trustees, and Superintendent Stock. The Families Partners in Education is a program for us to recognize Rocklin Unified School District family engagement and involvement to help our students achieve excellence during the school year. Tonight we have Springview Middle School Principal Scott Collins joining us to introduce the Acker family, Vanden Acker family.
Part where I say a few words about how wonderful Leslie and her family are. Board of Trustees, it is an honor for me to have been working with Leslie Vanden Acker and her family. We've got Luke here, correct? And oh gosh, this is awkward. Lainey, yes, very well, joining us. There are other Vanden Ackers that are not joining us because they're currently participating in playing for Springview at a championship game against Granite Oaks, I believe. Is that? Yeah. Woo, yeah. Caw. Big caw to the Springview Eagles. Anyway, Leslie's been absolutely instrumental for bringing back our parent club. We didn't have a parent club for a number of years at Springview. When I started as administrator 5 years ago, we looked at bringing back the parent club, and Leslie has had a number of kids go through our school, and she's been here from the bringing it back to us and all of the wonderful things she does. Most notably, a number of staff appreciation toward a type of events and bringing in food and helping out with showcase night and doing a ton of fundraising. Anyway, I could stand up here and and waste about half hour of your meeting. We're talking about how great Leslie is, but I know you have a lot of pressing business. So with that, Leslie Vandenacker and family, come on up.
This is personal because we used to be neighbors. And when you want to know the amount of energy and enthusiasm and the contribution that you guys make to Rocklin, I know it from living with you by you for how many years. But I really appreciate all that you do for every school that your kids are in, because I know you're not just volunteering at Springview. And it really is noticed, and I hope you feel that. And we appreciate you being part of our team and such huge volunteers. So thank you so much for all you do, and that's for you guys. Yeah, let's go and take a photo. Chief Dosage. We also have, oh, yeah. Yes, you guys can go. Go ahead.
President Price, trustees, and Superintendent Stock. Tonight for our employee recognition, we have 2 employees being recognized. First up, we have Parker Whitney Elementary School Principal Carrie Arwari joining us to introduce Judy McKee, a valued member of the Parker Whitney faculty since 1996.
Good evening, Superintendent Stock, Board of Trustees. I'll help Sandeep. It is ow, why? Like, ow, why'd you hit me? No problem. I haven't given you the mnemonic. You're good. So Parker Whitney is honored to be able to celebrate Judy McKee here tonight. Judy has been with Rocklin Unified since August of 1996. She started with Parker Whitney as a 6th grade teacher and has taught every elementary grade except 3rd. Judy will tell you that when she came back to Parker Whitney as a teacher and then took the TK position, she came home. A rare few choose to teach in TK. It takes a special skill set, a kindest heart, and exceptionally great knees. Speaking firsthand, this year as a sub in TK multiple days, I have never been that tired in my entire life. But to the contrary, Judy is still skipping with her students on the way out to dismissal. Ms. McKee knows every way to obtain the attention of her students and is a magician at keeping them engaged. I've heard her sing every lineup song, cleanup song, and morning song with passion and watched her students look at her in awe. When I asked the staff to tell me what they believed to be the most impressive thing about Mrs. McKee, they told me they were astonished at how much her students grow emotionally and academically with her within the year. Her organizational skills and classroom management are second to none, and the staff also respect and admire how she is always willing to support them, families, and the district whenever we need it. Ms. McKee gives her whole heart to her students, and I know she is sad to leave them when she retires at the end of the year. We are very lucky to have had Mrs. McKee at Parker Whitney helping our littlest students learn to love learning. Thank you for almost 26 years of dedication to our students and staff, Ms. McKee.
So, being a TK teacher, you are some family's first experience with school. And to have you be that first experience is a treasure they will never forget, and it starts them outright. Thank you so much for your love.
Okay. So I will try not to butcher this last name, considering he's my colleague. For our second employee recognition, I would like to ask Trustee Derek Counter to introduce the school district's Senior Director of Facilities, Maintenance, and Operations, Mr. Craig Rouse.
Hopefully, get the slides rolling. So, helping me out with this, and as we go through it, so I have Coach Jackson Watt, I have Dylan Castellanos, Jake Morrell, Sam Thawley, Brandon Whitney, and Tino Widrin. So, if I mess those up, guys, you can hit me up later. So, this is an amazing project that, I guess, just to summarize, you had a lot of parent support boosters came together. Whitney High School had the old scoreboard that was up there. There was a handful of lights out. There were some issues. There were some challenges. Parents got together, boosters got together, and through a lot of help, and I will call up Craig in a second, and Craig's help with just coordinating resources, managing subcontractors, pulling things together, all those things that as anybody's ever done projects, all those hurdles you have to go through, Craig helped out and facilitated a lot of that stuff and made it just happen, and it is amazing. So on this cue, we have a new scoreboard, and it is amazing. So thank you, parents. Thank you, guys. Again, this is just one of those things of just having the community, have people come together, and Craig's support just pulling all this out, because there's a lot of hurdles you have to go through with the state, with the county, with the city, with the district, with the facilities, and making all this happen. And I will tell you, a lot of these guys, they won't admit it. They were out there putting stuff together, making the fields work. We have slides? So, and they'll show all these part of it, but the kids came together, the team came together and made Whitney High School baseball stadium, I mean, all that much better. That's the front view of it, so it is beautiful. We got the backstop they came together, so they tore, it was an old wooden backstop, tore it apart. And I think we have the pictures of the brick. They went through, worked with a local mason, put this all together, and now we have, hopefully we have a picture of the concrete backstop they all have. There's an opportunity. I think there's still some open spots. If anybody wants to come out and help support that, you can get your name on the back of the Whitney baseball backstop. So reach out to Coach Watt or attend a game and you can put that together. That's the nice backside of it. And then I think there's another picture of some guys working out, putting this together. Excellent, that's what it looks like right now, and it is beautiful. There's the guys out there working on it on Field Day Plus. And then that's the inside view of it with the banners and everything. So, Craig, can you please come up? And you can run it from
Yeah, on behalf of the baseball program, just really like to thank you. This has been a culmination of several years of fundraising work, so much coordination along the way. The past 3 months, seeing the backstop, the scoreboard coming together, has been just so amazing for myself as a Whitney High School alum too, playing on these fields growing up, and now getting to see that for our kids here. We got our senior baseball class here as well. Just so appreciative. Tonight's a celebration of the baseball program, what we have, what we're so thankful for right now. One of our senior captains, Jake Morrell, wanted to say a few words as well.
Thank you. I was just going to say we thank you, the whole players and the coaching staff, for what you've done, and we want to give you a ball for throwing out the first pitch, if you would, on March 18th. Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much.
So, yeah, so on March 19th, you guys can all come out, watch 18th, sorry, watch Craig throw out the first pitch. Please don't short hop it. I got to practice. Get him practicing, make sure he warms it up, all right? And excellent, and again, please come out and see Whitney High School baseball, any games, and even for that, I know they're competitors. Rocklin High School baseball is playing also too, so come out and support all those kids. And we need a picture?
I don't know where Sandeep went. Oh, he's right there.
Oh, he's right here, Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And thanks for the photos. Good. That's fun to see. It's great. Okay, now moving to item 5.1. Oh, I'm sorry, 6.1. Employee Organization Report. Welcome RTPA President Travis Mojet to present the report.
All right, good evening, everybody. I want to just also give Craig a shout out. I think he's one of our heroes behind the scenes that does a lot of work that doesn't get as recognized as publicly. So awesome to see Craig getting that deserved recognition, and finally to have Jackson actually focused on things and not that scoreboard right now. So as somebody that teaches with Jackson, he's been like a kid in a candy store for the last few weeks. So again, thanks, Craig. Also want to shout out Brett Hunter and his BITA program. I know they were hands-on with a lot of that project as well. And Derek, I know that's been a huge point for you, is getting kids that practical experience with those programs. So it's been pretty cool to see. So again, Craig, congratulations. Thanks for all the hard work you and your guys do. Sam, I want to just extend the same gratitude and thoughts towards your family as well. I can speak for literally hundreds of people in this district are thinking about your dad and sending a lot of good vibes into you and your family. So, when you get the opportunity, just know you got that system, those people around you. I hope you're feeling it at school, at home, your mom, at work. So, anyway. So kind of want to start with a point. So obviously we had a board meeting last week, a special scheduled board meeting. There's been a lot of frustration about kind of the process of how that went down. There's also been a lot of accusations of issues and concerns about the results of the board meeting. So I just want to try to clarify some things as best I can. But I'm going to start with, there's a bullet point that came out following that board meeting with the update to the masking guidance. This bullet point kind of stood out to me as kind of an ironic piece that was a result of that meeting. And it's the last bullet point that was sent out by the district email. I think the same email went to both staff and families, maybe a slight variation, but I think this piece was consistent. And it says, most importantly, all students and staff will be treated with respect and kindness. When I first read that, I just thought how ironic it was that a meeting that, in a lot of people's opinion, was the exact opposite of respect and kindness came up with this communication as a result. So just something to keep in mind as I make some points here tonight, and I'm going to do my best to be as respectful and kind as I can, and I'll admit that sometimes I'm not the most kind or respectful, and I'm human, and but anyway, so if you could help me with that, yeah, thank you.
We want to give, I'm sorry, hold on
Go
one
ahead.
second.
Yeah, go ahead.
Everybody that talks gets an opportunity to speak, and we want to hear it from everyone, and everyone deserves that respect. Please, thank you. Go ahead.
Appreciate it. So again, like I opened up with, there's a lot of concerns and frustrations around just the process by which everything happened last week. The fact that we had a meeting scheduled tonight, we were already anticipating as a state updates from the government with masking, and I want to be very clear that the issue of masking is not what my point is. It's not the root of 90+% of the frustrations that I'm hearing and that I've experienced. But instead, it was the lack of the respect and the kindness and the trust and the collaboration and transparency that we hear you guys talking about week in and week out as we have decisions and we have open public conversations. So that said, one of my questions, and this is a little bit more rhetorical, but if you're willing and able to answer, that's fine. Julie, you answered some of these already in an email, and I appreciate that. But when we've been in board meetings, especially probably December till now, we've had a lot of stuff, disagreeable topics in conversation. One that's been frustrating for a lot of people is new course approval processes. And the thing that I kept hearing through that process was the board's interest in having a transparent, a public, a open and collaborative conversation and letting our community, our stakeholders, our staff, everybody involved just hear the dialogue between you board members as you're making those decisions. And then we have last week's meeting. It was a scheduled last minute. It was during a week of known vacation. We already had a meeting here, and the bulk of that meeting, actual decision and deliberation took place behind closed doors in the closed session. So it just seems a little bit interesting that, is it the topic of the meeting? Is it the situation? Is it the timing? It's probably a little bit of everything, but certain topics we want to be open and public and make sure everybody gets an opportunity, and others we don't. And maybe that's not your intent, but that's the perception, and that's the opinions that I'm representing and hearing from a lot of people. And there's many opinions, right? Like any of this, there's people on either end and a lot in the middle, and but just something to think about. And as you all know, and as hopefully you read in the email that I sent you guys, My biggest concern with all of that is the 2 years of work that we've done in labor relations to address our inability to be as kind and respectful and collaborative as we have been seems like it was just for nothing, the way everything went down last week. So we sit in a labor group, we spend hours each month, we're looking to make bigger investments of time and money, board members are involved in that process, and then when it comes to the actual decisions that impact every employee, every student, it happens behind closed doors. It just seems a little contradictory. It seems like a huge step backwards. So just something that I wanted to share. Again, nothing that wasn't in my email. And Rochelle, I also want to acknowledge you emailed me back. I just haven't had a chance, but we'll have that conversation as well. And I know the labor group is interested in continuing some conversations around some concerns there as well. So looking forward to that next meeting. Some things I want to just bring to the light of everything. So again, wherever you sit on the masking, the not masking, the enforcement, the mask choice, whatever the situation is, all that we've seen in school in the last 3 days now is more division and more frustration, and ironically, more of that bullying that this policy or this communication of this change in policy is specifically trying to eliminate. I've heard from more parents, more students, and seen in my classroom more division, frustration, and individual targeting of students than I have the other 2 years that we've been dealing with all these mandates and all these changes in school through the COVID pandemic. And it just seems, again, one of those ironic things that supposedly we added choice, we added opportunity to limit or eliminate that bullying and those kinds of things. And I'm unaware, and I'm not at every campus, I'm not in every classroom, and I know you hear a lot of things that I don't, and I hear a lot of things that you don't, but I'm not aware of a huge issue of that until things kind of escalated in the last week and a half or so before and through the President's Week and then all the way up till now. So I wonder what were the motives of having that meeting and what were the concerns of not having it publicly? And most importantly, what was the reason that the labor partners that you claim to be so collaborative and so invested in with were left out of the loop unless they just happened to get lucky and catch an email on their vacation? Lastly, and Rochelle, I want to thank you and just remind everybody that our goal here tonight is to be heard. And to be heard respectfully. And I'm going to go right back to that bullet, treat each other with respect and kindness. And I'll be the first one to admit that I'm not always the best at that. At the same time, I'm also, like everybody else in here, deserving of that opportunity to have my voice heard. I know there's a lot of people that want to speak tonight, so I'm going to try to cut things off. And you guys hear from me more than you want to as it is, so that's fine. Again, thank you for your time. And again, just want to give one more shout out to Eckenberg family and just know that anything you guys need, our TPA, and like I said, a lot of people, literally hundreds of people, are pulling for Dale and anything you guys need in the process. So, yeah.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Travis. Our Chuck Haddocks, our CSEA president, is not feeling well, and so he is not here tonight. So we're going to move straight to comments from Sam Eckenberg, our student representative.
Good evening, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Stock. It was once again wonderful to hear back from various schools about exciting events and daily happenings at their sites. Over the past couple of months, many students have become involved in their campus and their communities, which we move towards the end of the school year. To start off, at Brain, the 6th grade students raised money by selling Valentine's candygrams for their trip to Slide Park coming up on March 14th through the 18th. The students are eager for the Scholastic Book Fair, which is coming back to Breen from March 18th through the 25th. The Bobcat Spirit Club decorated all of the teachers' doors for the week of Valentine's Day to spread positivity and love across the campus. They have also been planning some fun spirit days coming up, which include Disney Superhero Day on March 4th and Sports Day on March 25th. At Sunset Ranch, they just enjoyed another PBIS event where students could turn in their golden positivities, which they earned for following school-wide expectations for a chance to participate in a snowball fight. The students had a blast, and it was a big turnout. The Coyotes have also been spreading kindness around campus in theme with their Purposeful People lesson this past month by sending notes to staff and posting messages on doors for students. The students also have been able to enjoy some field trips again. The kindergartners had a visit from the Tooth Fairy, and the 2nd graders had a Wild Thing assembly. great to see activities once again at Sunset Ranch, and we look forward to more happening this spring. Jumping to Sierra Elementary, Sierra celebrated Black History with an incredible PTC-sponsored assembly by Phoenix Dance and Drum Company, who taught the Sharks how Western African music and dance traditions from long ago exist here in the United States today, through a mesmerizing performance of song and dance. Sierra Elementary is also celebrating and analyzing the continued solid growth of Sharks in the Learning Recovery Program, in spite of staffing impacts felt in trimester 2 during the COVID surge. Sierra's site leadership came up with a growth celebration day in every class on March 18th, where students would be honored and celebrated by their teachers and peers for a specific area of growth they've worked hard to earn. Sierra's 20th birthday party plans were foiled last year by the pandemic, so they are celebrating their 21st birthday later this month. Sierra students are also part of planning committees, submitting design ideas for T-shirts, and creating the list of events, a school celebration in the school celebration. This was led by the 6th grade teacher, Miss Patton, along with a dance party. Lastly, Sierra's Student Council is gearing up for efforts in participation with Whitney High's Student of the Year Wildcats for a Cure Club for its Bucks for Blood Cancer. Fundraisers at Sierra later this month, the Sharks are honored to help support this WHS club focused on honored heroes. At Whitney High School, a big congratulations for the men and women's soccer team, who are both Division I champions in the San Joaquin section. All the Wildcats are extremely proud of both teams. Also at Whitney, they are looking forward to their upcoming Black and White auction fundraiser, which is raising money for their leadership program. And concluding the schools, lastly, Rocklin High School. On Friday before break, Rocklin held their Heavenly Winter semi-formal dance on the football field. With a great turnout, we turn our attention to the next Spirit Week, which is Sadie's, March 14th through the 18th, and the theme is Throwback Disney. Some exciting news comes from our VAPA program. After not performing last year, this weekend and currently tonight, Rocklin is hosting their Dance One showcase with over 100 girls dancing. Finally, my last words are spoken on behalf of myself and my family. First of all, I would like to express my disappointment as one of the student representatives for not being invited to the special board meeting held last Wednesday night. I thought the reason we had student representatives sitting on the board was to represent all sides of the student body and voice concerns or agreements on indecisive votes. I felt that our views were not even being considered regarding the mask mandate, when that is what it is, a mandate issued by the state of California. I'm glad that you feel as a school board that you are above the law, but I was raised to follow the rules that are put in place for specific and necessary reasons. I'm not sure if you are aware, but my dad, who is currently a teacher with this district, is fighting for his life in the ICU with COVID pneumonia. He is vaccinated and boosted, for those of you who last week felt that maybe he should have been and who are surprised he's still fighting for his life. Again, I know you can't imagine what my family is going through, as you aren't walking in our shoes, and we would never ask that of you. But there's a process that should be followed, and I'm disappointed in the steps that were taken and by not waiting an extra week until the governor issued further guidance. As leaders in the community, what are you teaching our future generations? That we are able to do whatever we choose? If so, that makes me sad and disappointed. I have been honored to sit up here as representative of the students of Rocklin, and I've learned so much as being one of the ASB presidents for my school. Thank you to all the teachers and staff members that have molded me into the person I am today, and I look forward to my future and applying all these skills and life lessons I've learned along the way. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. I appreciate your heartfelt, vulnerable words. It wouldn't have been, I'm going to attempt to answer some of what you said. I appreciate your report, Travis, and what you shared. I'm going to attempt to explain in just a few minutes maybe where we were coming from. And I first want to say, though, that we see nice tonight and hear our teachers, both the loud ones and the quiet ones, and the ones that are going to speak, and also the ones that are going to, that we get emails and texts from. And the beautiful thing about being in America is that kids can have peaceful protests and teachers can walk out, and that is democracy, and it is a beautiful thing. And I had a lot of parents call me on Monday and say, my kids are sitting in the gym, should I pull them out? No, my kids are in the gym too, and they're safe and they're fine. And it's part of the process. What is really more important to me is that we learn as a community how to disagree better. And I actually think that there's a way to do that with kindness. Out of the 100 teachers that were out on Monday, one teacher texted me last night, late, and it was a frustrated text, and he was upset. And I immediately responded and said, thank you so much for reaching out. What time can we meet tomorrow? I will be there at whatever time works for you. And we met today. We spent a long time talking. And unfortunately, I can't go into 45 minutes of a conversation, but what I can say is that that is actually where real healing and relationships happen and connection happens, is when we have one-on-one conversations. I want to say we can do better. I know we can. I have full faith in amazing people that live in this community. Parents, teachers, administration, staff, custodial, all of us. I want to clarify two things. First is my intent. I know you mentioned that, and I think it's important that you hear. My intent and purpose in running for school board has been clear from the very beginning, that I love Rocklin. I've lived here for 22 years. I want our schools to continue to be top-notch. That's it. I don't get paid. I don't receive any other benefits. I don't have any other motivation. I am always going to make decisions on what I think is best for students. And that may look different for all of us, and that's okay, because in all reality, when you talk to people, most of the time, we can find things that we agree on. I've seen it time and time again. You guys have seen it. We've sat through it together. I know that it's our duty as a society to educate our students the best way that we can. And I believe that as teachers, parents, administrators, if we stay focused on students first, as we make decisions, that we will make the right ones together and that we'll all win and benefit. I also know that this is why most teachers went into the profession, because they want to make a difference in society by educating our next generation, and there isn't a more noble profession. Never had the intent, nor has any of my colleagues. This isn't something, we're here because we love our community and want to serve. None of us have the intent of harming anyone, including our teachers. And when we make decisions, including last week, we don't have any malintent. I hope you'll give us benefit of doubt. My eye is always on the target of doing what is best for students, and I believe I make my decisions accordingly. And that is why we gave the direction to Superintendent Stock. It is no way intended to disrespect teachers. As a trustee, I want kids in school with teachers learning. Our district had hundreds of students sitting out on Thursday and Friday before break. Let me give you the numbers just for the Friday the 18th. 250 students from Granite Oaks. 200, please. I can't hear what you're saying, so please just be respectful. 200 from Springview, 50 from Whitney High School, 117 from Rocklin. It's not okay. The board has been transparent around our goals to get kids out of masks all along, and we don't want students out of class. And so there's another peaceful protest planned on Monday the 28th, and also Governor Newsom was supposed to talk. We didn't know what he was going to say. We agreed that we couldn't wait to see. We didn't want things to get worse like we were seeing in surrounding districts. Many other districts had already had special closed meetings weeks before us. We had a unique situation in Rocklin. There were special closed meetings that week alone from Roseville City on Monday the holiday, Eureka on Monday the holiday, Western Placer on Tuesday the February 22nd. But consider the timing. Monday was a holiday and our staff was off. The first day back was Tuesday and the meeting was posted. We acted in a way that we thought was best. We were actually so glad that there was a week off of school so that things would hopefully calm down. We did it in the middle of the week on purpose. We needed to receive legal advice to give our superintendent direction, and we chose to do it before school got back into session. and more kids were sitting outside not receiving instruction. That was our intent. And Sam, you know what? Looking back, I apologize. I didn't even think about it. We should have invited you. You would have only been able to sit here for public comment. But I apologize. That would have been a great thing. I'm not sure if that's been done before. I don't know. But you couldn't have come in with the attorney, but you're right. I apologize for that. I do not enjoy, nor do I condone, the unwarranted negative comments that I have seen against teachers. Teachers are giving it their best efforts. We couldn't have done what we have done in this district for 2 years without teachers showing up. I know that you guys are giving your best efforts and hoping to make a difference in the lives of students, and we continue to advocate and support you. I think if you review the board meeting notes, you will see many, many examples of trustees making comments, recognizing and thanking teachers and classified staff for the dedicated and skillful way they educate the students in Rocklin. We have all been through a long 2 years together. We have accomplished a lot as a board, district staff, teachers, classified employees, administrators, and students. Thank you to everyone, as we actually have so much to be proud of. We have to keep our eye on the target and focus on our commitment to do what is best for kids. And through it all, I'm out there, not as much as you guys are, but that is what is happening day in and day out. With that being said, we have a meeting here tonight, and as adults, we're working together to educate kids. There are things that need to be shared, discussed, and accomplished. And I want to share that since our last meeting on February 9th, we had a workshop to talk about learning loss and math recovery. It was one of our best. Thank you to Superintendent Stock and so many cabinet members and district employees that really worked hard to make that workshop really helpful. We had kind of a round robin setup, and the board moved from to different tables. We had a principal and a learning loss teacher at each table and talked about at secondary and elementary what they were doing. It was amazing. It was so impressive, and I am so grateful for that. We've had some extra one-time money for this, and it has been well needed and well spent. Thank you to all of those that worked so hard to make that such a great meeting for the board. Again, I just want to reiterate my sincere thanks, my sincere apology, and also our sincere intent is never to be disrespectful, ever. The teachers in this community are teaching my children. I would not be disrespectful on purpose. So I appreciate your support. I appreciate what you're trying to do to make things best for our kids in Rocklin. I know we can do this. I know we can disagree better. Any of my colleagues would like to comment? Julie?
Honestly, I had a whole thing to say, but President Price said it so beautifully and so well that I'm going to bag that, and I'm just going to say ditto to everything that she said. It's difficult to express in a board meeting. It's difficult for parents when they come up to the mic. It's difficult for teachers. It's difficult for the board members to express all that happens in a school district, all that happens in a classroom, all that happens in a home. We do receive more emails than we can count. And a lot of the stories that you hear here are very, very mild compared to the ones that we get in our inbox from people who it's too personal to share in a board meeting. But it's extreme and it's heart-wrenching. And the last 2 years, I think that the board has been extremely clear at every board meeting how we feel about masking the children and how urgent we felt it was when given the opportunity to end that enforcement of that. Based on not just opinion, but based on the heartfelt emails that we get and have been getting for 2 years. And I can't stress enough how desperate so many of those emails have been. I can't stress enough when we're talking about teenagers who are cutting, who are suicidal, who've given up, who are apathetic, who don't care about college anymore, who don't want to go on. They don't have friends anymore. Like literally they've given up. That's hard to hear over and over and over again. When several other districts scheduled their emergency board meetings, it would have been reprehensible for us to not at least meet and talk about it. So what a lot of people don't understand is that we can't talk about it. We can't just call each other on the phone. We can't say, hey, let's go have coffee and talk about it. The only way we can talk about it is if we schedule a board meeting. And it was enclosed because we didn't want to make mistakes. We needed legal there to help us. And we don't do that in open. That's enclosed. And we wanted to do it right. We wanted to make sure we understood everything that we were hearing and doing and not put the district in jeopardy. So meeting with our attorneys was essential. Since then, and I know, Travis, you said there's been a lot more divisiveness, and it's always hard to predict. Everything is messy. Whenever there's changes, it gets messy, and hopefully that will clear up very quickly. But my inbox is no longer filled with tragedies, but it's filled with thankful parents and thankful teachers and people who are overjoyed because they didn't think that they would see their child smile again. It's been, and I'm not talking about because it's covered with a mask, I'm talking about because the child felt hopeless and helpless, and so did the parents. And now I'm hearing from parents and teachers who are so happy to be moving on to the next step. I'm a teacher too, and I understand the hopeless, helpless, angry feeling that teachers have had for this last 2 years. And I understand that teachers have been put in the middle of something that should not have happened. It shouldn't have anything to do with teachers. Teachers love their students, and they go to school to teach their students and to have wonderful relationships with their students. And it's been wrong putting teachers in that situation. And I only hope that it clears up as soon as possible.
There's always going to be variation in expectations when it comes to the perspective of a family, students, state, staff, county, and I don't want to preach. Policymaking isn't easy. You're never going to make everyone happy. There's always going to be some part that's going to be upset on one side, doesn't fully fit. I know we went through this, and it's a simple example, but when we were doing the student clothing and updating that, there was a lot of different perspectives on different attire, and there's not one way to make it all work. So it is tough. I want to say it's not simple. We try to balance all those different stakeholder perspectives with the timing of any decision. And we need to respect individual decisions as we progress through this. With all the changes and decisions and impacts coming in after that ski week, I want to thank all those teachers and the staff people and everyone who jumped in and juggled things around at schools on Monday. I sincerely appreciate that. Thank you for everything you did to balance out all the changes, the conversations with kids, the process, all of it. It wasn't easy, and I just want to thank those folks that stepped up and got it. And I hope as we move forward, it'll get a little easier, it'll get a little better, and things will move forward. On a positive note, I want to congratulate both the boys and girls basketball teams at both schools moving into the section playoffs. I think it's just great to see those kind of activities happening again. The boys and girls soccer teams at Whitney High School for being section champs and then continuing into the state tournaments. And then and I will apologize for the parents out there where I mess up some of these names. We had a lot of wrestlers move on into the section tournament and place and actually wrestled at state. So at Rocklin High School, we had 4. We had Kayla Pfluger, Caden Baker, Evan Trambla, and Gemma Templeman, who actually placed 3rd in state, which is amazing. As a sophomore, thank you. And then at Whitney High School, we had 4 wrestlers, Anthony Berg, Julia Boble, Alex Madej, and Leah Brown, who actually is 30-0 and is the state champion in wrestling. So again, amazing for that. Great to see we're moving towards normalcy in spring sports, baseball, softball. You saw the kids here, track, lacrosse, stunt, swim, boys golf, boys tennis, all that stuff. I just hope that we can move forward, we can get to that some sense of normalcy, and we can see all those great events, the dances, the performances, the sports, graduation, and everything happen, and we finish off the school year on a positive note.
Yeah, I'd like to thank all of my colleagues for sharing what you have already shared. Many of you have said similar things that were on my notes. It's hard. This is really the only format where we can speak to the entire community, that the entire community can hear live at the exact same moment what we are doing, why we're doing it, and we have to choose our words very carefully. I don't say that in a negative way. I say that in a positive way. I want people to hear why I make the decisions I make, how I make the decisions I make. I believe our community deserves that. They deserve to have people be accountable to them. It gets difficult when our conditions change in a 24-hour notice, and we have situations that cannot be left unaddressed for a week and a half. And many have asked, Tiffany, I've heard you many times say transparency. I've heard you many times say that you want open dialogue and open communication. That is my desire. I know many say intent is not action. I do think it's important that our community does hear the intent, and then we also talk about action to make sure it follows up with our intent. My intent was never to make people feel as though we don't want to be available to them, don't want to hear them, don't want to make decisions without them. I am actually still working diligently to try to get back to the many, many emails because I do read them all, and I try to respond to them as much as possible. I was actually very concerned, we've been very concerned, that those that can attend meetings, we want to keep a written platform up and running, and we have, as many other districts stopped theirs, because we want to make sure everybody has the opportunity to be heard. At times, there are decisions that need to be made in a timely fashion. Many of you, I actually emailed before Thursday and Friday, the week before that break, before our conditions changed, saying, at this point, we have a scheduled meeting, Wednesday, March 2nd. However, that Thursday and Friday, conditions changed. They changed rapidly, and we had a decision to make. Do we allow that to continue the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday as students return, or do we address it? And I believe it was President Price, one of my colleagues, shared, we are unable to talk with each other unless we schedule a special meeting. Some have asked, okay, why in closed session? Why not an open session? I hear you on that. Although I do think our board has been abundantly clear. Back in August, we were very clear. July, June, we issued a letter saying we were very concerned about masks. In December, we passed a resolution making it clear that we will be moving forward and discussing a return to normal as soon as possible. So I understand the frustration, and again, working diligently, getting back to all of you, but this is our public forum to be able to share with you why we do what we do. I do what I do to try to make the best decisions for kids first. And I know some may disagree with me on that. But I have a variety of pieces of information I have to take into consideration. A variety of individuals speaking to me, a variety of pros and cons, and I have to weigh all of those out. And we may get it right and we may get it wrong. Knowing now what I know Monday night, great. Glad to know there's a date. We didn't have that, and I wasn't confident that we would have that. So with students returning to school on Monday, I felt something needed to be addressed before they returned to school. We couldn't have there be a question. My goal is to have students in classrooms with our excellent teachers. We cannot do this without our teachers. And I hear hurt. I hear confusion. I hope some misinformation has been cleared up tonight. But I actually believe we have more common ground than we think. I actually really do. And I don't just say that. I actually believe we have a lot of common ground. And I believe districts throughout the state, throughout the nation, have been having these very similar conversations. And the reality is, I wish there was one perfect solution to every single problem, but there isn't. And we're elected to make those decisions in good faith with the information we have at our fingertips. With that being said, I do want to share for just a minute. Back right before school reconvened, I shared in a study session my concern that our children are watching. Our children are not only living day in and day out in situations that we're not even experiencing day in and day out, but they're also watching how we as adults disagree, how we give our opinions. They're watching how I make decisions and communicate those decisions. I know my own children, I beg them, my own family, please don't watch board meetings. And they do. They watch every single one. I think we have an opportunity as a community to show them how can we work through disagreements? How can we work through making decisions when everybody doesn't agree? And everybody doesn't agree. The last 2 years have been very polarizing, not only for our community, our state, our nation, and it has thrust leaders and communities to have to make decisions. And so I wanted to take a moment to just ask, to remind myself as I speak and listen to myself, that when we speak to each other, when we communicate our concern, when we communicate our worries, our desires, our children are watching and listening. And to question care or intent or malice, that's heartbreaking. Because I don't think anybody in this room, I don't think any of you would be here. No matter what your belief system, your political leaning, you would not be here if you didn't care. I have people ask, why do you come and listen? And I actually legitimately care. I believe there's information out there I don't know. And you coming can give me that information. And so when I'm writing notes, I'm legitimately asking for more information. And so my heart tonight is just to share, I do care. I do not flippantly make decisions. I work diligently to research and listen. Many times with tears. I wish I could learn how not to show every emotion. But I also think you deserve to see every emotion we have, because we're moms and dads like you trying to figure this out for our kids as well. And so to every teacher listening, I do want to say thank you. Rocklin is known for its excellence because of not just what we've achieved, but because we have teachers that show up. They do. At every turn the last 2 years, our teachers have. We get to brag and talk about how our students were back to school faster than many others in the state. That's because of our teachers. Our learning loss, you compare to other districts, is much lower. That's because of our teachers. So if you haven't heard it, I want you to hear it now. Thank you. Thank you to our teachers. Thank you to our students for persevering with every change, We know this hasn't been easy. I know many students have reached out to me. Please do. We want to hear from students. But also parents. Thank you, parents. I know it's not easy to have your children, decisions made for them by people that you may not know personally. And so I want to open that door to you. I mean it. I like to grab coffee, I like to listen, I like to talk, but I like to hear what you have to say so we can make better decisions. So with that, tonight, please know I'm listening, I'm writing notes, and I'm available to you. Sam, I would like to take a minute and say thank you for what you shared. Thank you for having the courage to share publicly and be very vulnerable. Please know my heart goes out to you and your family. If there's anything we can do, please let us know. Again, thank you for sharing what you had to say tonight. Please know I was listening, and I wrote down, and I look forward to following up to see how I can assist and do better next time.
Thank you to my colleagues. Superintendent Stock.
There's been a lot said tonight, and I, won't repeat, but I just do have to just say to Sam, again, just impressed with your maturity, employees. I mean, I had one of my daughters was a high school student board rep, and it's hard to sit up here among adults and share your thoughts, especially when they may not be agreed by all, and that's tough. And to do that just really shows your maturity and poise, and also to speak on behalf of your dad. That's something nobody should have to do, and thank you for doing that and really reminding us, of things we need to be reminded of. And thank you. And also, I know your mom's here to support you, and we don't often get to say that, but I know that, I got the chance at a football game to share with both your mom and dad just, how impressed I was with you, and they are, as you know, so proud of you. And so thank you, and that's really is why we have student trustees, is to make sure we don't ever lose sight of that student perspective, and you've demonstrated again tonight why that's important. So thank you. And there's been a lot said, and I will just, one of the things I have had a chance to, obviously we've all had a chance to reflect, is that despite, there's a lot of opinions and deep perspectives and deep differences sometimes on issues, and we've had those. I've had fortunate to be a staff member and serve here for 9 years, and we've had those over that time. But the thing is we also know that every one of us, whether your role as a parent, a student, or one of our 1,200 staff members like me and my colleagues, everybody is really about kids. And guess what? The kids are showing up tomorrow, and the next day, and the day after. And the thing that I know gets me through, like tonight, the rest of the year, and the years to go, is that knowing that they're showing up, and we show up all to really, because all of us care about the kids. We all do. No matter what perspective, what role, I firmly believe that, and I've seen that, and I know that will occur tomorrow as the kids come back getting the best from us, because they deserve that. So I just share that. Now, the other pieces, we've talked a lot about people, and there's an example that I want to share, and I know that he's going to be upset that I do, but that's okay, because I'm his boss, so I can do this. Marty Flowers, our Associate Superintendent of Secondary Education, he has been his whole career as a teacher, coach, principal, district leader, but sometimes we don't acknowledge some of those other pieces, and he was honored this Monday evening by the California Association of School Administrators in Placer County as our Student Services Administrator of the Year. And that's a great honor, and I could not think of a better title of an award when you think of Marty around students, right? But it gets better. Additionally, on Friday, March 11th, which I will not be in the black and white dinner, unfortunately, because I get to join Marty as he's honored by our region, which is 5 additional counties beyond Placer, for a very special award. He'll be receiving the Sam LaCara Award, and this award is given in memory of a beloved administrator who actually was killed in the line of duty. But to get the award, and I'm going to read these few pieces, and it just tells you the kind of people we have, and Marty exemplifies. It's someone who motivates and inspires students, parents, and colleagues, willing to go the extra mile to get things done, establishes relationships and connections with community that benefit children, advocate for at-risk and disenfranchised children, and demonstrates integrity and a positive outlook. And I could not think of a more accurate description of our colleague Marty Flowers, and I'm so proud that he was honored by his peers and colleagues in the region for that. And he would be the first to tell you that, yes, no, don't say that, and there's a lot of other people, and that may be true, but really, Marty, it's really nice to see you be honored by your peers and colleagues in the region.
Thank you, and congratulations, Marty. That's awesome. Item 8.1, all matters listed under the consent calendar are to be considered routine and will be enacted by one motion, followed by a roll call vote. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless the Board of Trustees, audience, or staff requests specific items to be removed from the consent calendar for separate discussion and action. Any item removed will be voted upon following the motion to approve the consent calendar. Does anyone wish to remove an item from the consent agenda for separate discussion and action? Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda items. Is there a second?
Second?
Great. Brenda, will you please call the roll?
Sam Eckenberg,
Yes.
Rick Miller, Julie Hupp,
Yes.
Derek Counter,
Yes.
Tiffany Sathoff,
Yes.
Rochelle Price.
Yes. Thank you. All right. Dr. Limoges, ready to go. Action item, let's see, action on Resolution 21-2227, a resolution authorizing the reduction of classified school services. Associate Superintendent, thank you.
Good evening, Ms. President Price, trustees, Superintendent Stock, Ms. Brenda. I am now presenting for approval Resolution 21-2227 and approve resolution authorizing the layoff of .375 FTE or full-time equivalent classified positions pursuant to Education Code sections, and I'm not going to read all the sections for you. I'm going to spare you from that, effective July 30th, 2022. In accordance with June 30th, 2022, in accordance with Education Code sections listed, governing boards of school districts are authorized to lay off or reduce classified employees for lack of work and or lack of funds, and directed to give a notice of reduction of services to the affected employees of the district pursuant to district rules and regulations and applicable provisions of the Education Code no later than March 15th. And just to summarize, the passage of Assembly Bill 438 has changed the rules around layoffs regarding classified employees, now mirroring them with what we do with certificated employees. And I think it's important to note that after the past few years of reductions that we've been doing, really these are kind of based upon our current enrollment standards and some of the right sizing that we have always done currently during the year. So I'm recommending a motion to approve Resolution 21-2227, a resolution authorizing the reduction of classified school services pursuant to Education Codes listed effective June 30th, 2022.
Thank you. Any board questions or comments? Okay, is there a motion to approve Resolution 21-2227, a resolution authorizing the reduction of classified school services?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, first by Derek, second by Julie. Brenda, will you please call the roll?
Sam Eckenberg,
Yes.
Julie Hupp,
Yes.
Derek Counter,
Yes.
Tiffany Sathoff,
Yes.
Rochelle Price.
Yes. Motion passes. Okay, also you, 9.2, action on Resolution 21-2225, a resolution to reduce or eliminate particular kinds of services.
And try saying that like 3 times
Fast,
in the course
yeah.
of it. Thank you, President Price. I have now presented to the Board of Trustees for approval Resolution 21-2225, a resolution authorizing the layoff of 1.0 full-time equivalent FTE certificated positions pursuant to Education Code 44955, effective June 30th. Based on the loss of enrollment and reductions in particular kinds of services or programs, the district will be issuing reduction in force, layoff notices to an employee. Issuing notices and making other reductions will provide the district with maximum flexibility to meet its financial obligations for the 22-23 school year. The resolution to reduce or eliminate particular kinds of services has been developed, listing the services affected by the reduction in force. And I think it's also important to know that this is the first round that has to be done prior to a specific deadline, but any resignations within a possible curricular area also will affect the actual reduction. So this number actually could change based upon retirements, reductions, any other movement that we also have. And again, I want to highlight, these are also not as part of reductions that we're doing as a district. It's really just a lowering of enrollment and the right sizing portion. So I'm recommending a motion to approve Resolution 21-22-25, a resolution to reduce or eliminate particular kinds of services effective June 30th, 2022.
Thank you. Colleagues, any questions, comments? Okay, is there a motion to approve Resolution 21-22-25, a resolution to reduce or eliminate particular kinds of services?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, first by Julie, second by Derek. Brenda, will you please call the roll?
Sam Meckenberg,
Yes.
Julie Hupp,
Yes.
Derek Counter,
Yes.
Tiffany Sathoff,
Yes.
Rochelle Price.
Yes. Item 9.3, action on Resolution 21-22-26, a resolution authorizing the adoption of tie-breaking criteria.
I am now presenting for approval Resolution 21-22-26, a resolution authorizing the adoption of tie-breaking criteria used as the next step in the reduction in force for certificated employees in 21-22 for the 22-23 school year. Based on the loss of enrollment and reductions the district is facing, it's imperative that the district issue reduction in force layoff notices. That was the previous resolution that was just passed for certificated employees in anticipation of further potential budget shortfalls or changes. Seniority lists have been established and when more than one employee has the same seniority date. So just to highlight, seniority is always the priority, but there are times when we have multiple employees with a similar seniority date, a tie-breaking criteria will be applied. The tie-breaking criteria has been developed, is now ready for board review. Last year, you may not recall this, unfortunately, I was presenting the same material, and you had already approved a tie-breaking criteria. The only additions or changes that were made this year was putting a BCLAT or bilingual authorization, obviously with the opening as one of the components, and also activities director and athletic director was also added as a points getting. It just doesn't mean they're completely skipped. What it means is individuals with similar seniority dates will get a point total, and that's how the decisions are made. So the decision to add activities and athletic director is really about the importance of those on a high school, creating some continuity for students that are involved in the programs, not constantly have to changing them. So I'm recommending a motion to approve 21-22-26, a resolution authorizing the adoption of tie-breaking criteria as the next step in the reduction in force for certificated employees.
Yeah. Ready for me?
Yep.
Okay, I didn't
Your
hear the
turn.
pause. I was like, the wing.
Sorry,
That's okay.
I didn't do a really solid
Okay,
stop
okay,
on
okay,
that
good.
one, my bad.
Any questions or comments? Okay, I will make a motion to approve Resolution 21-22-26, a resolution authorizing the adoption of tie-breaking criteria.
So moved.
Okay, first by Rochelle, second by Derek. Brenda, will you please call the roll?
Sam Meckenberg,
Yes.
Julie Hupp,
Yes.
Derek Counter,
Yes.
Tiffany Sathoff,
Yes.
Rochelle Price.
Yes, motion passes. Thank you, Tony. Item 9.4, vote for 2022 California School Board Association Delegate Assembly Representative, Subregion 4D, Superintendent Stock.
Yes, trustees, California School Board Association Delegate Assembly is a link in the association's governance structure, and it works with local school districts, county offices, and board of in the California School Board Association staff to ensure that their work reflects the interest of school districts and county office of education throughout the state, which is why local delegates are critical to that work. Delegates are elected by the California School Board member boards in the region. And the delegate that is elected represents, serves 2-year terms. And what ballots are due by March 15th. So if the board intends to cast a vote in that, it needs to do so tonight. At the December 15th, 2021 board meeting, the board actually nominated a trustee for that, and that was Trustee Tiffany Sathoff to be added on the ballot. So therefore, the board has the opportunity tonight to vote on that nomination which is in the ballot in your packet.
All right, I'll just make a comment. I served as a delegate last year and really enjoyed it, had the opportunity to meet with other trustees from around the state. I think that you would do a great job, and I really, really like the idea that we have a Rocklin voice among the trustees in the state. So I'll make a motion to vote for Tiffany Sada for the 2022 CSBA Delegate Assembly Representative Subregion 4D.
Second?
First by Rochelle, second by Derek. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion passes.
Great. Trustees, we will cast your ballot.
Thank you. Alrighty, we are moving right along. This is pretty awesome. We will now open agenda item 10.1, public comment on non-agenda items. We want to remind everyone that this agenda item is to give anyone in attendance an opportunity to ask questions or discuss non-agenda items with the board. The board is not permitted to deliberate or take action on non-agenda items, but may refer the matter to a staff member for follow-up. A complaint about a specific employee to the district shall be made to that employee's immediate supervisor or the principal as required by Administrative Regulation 1312.1. For verbal comments, please fill out a green comment card, complete with all the information, and turn it in to Chief Dosage. And let's see here. I will call your name up to the podium and let you know who's on deck. When you approach the podium, please restate your name, the city you live in, and the school your children attend. You'll have 3 minutes to address the board. All comments must be respectful and professional. How many are we looking about? How much time do we have? 27. So we go, let's see. Okay, the first 20 people get 3 minutes, and then after that, everyone gets a minute. Please be respectful. Do not call out any staff member's name, please, and please be quiet while other people are speaking. We want everyone to have an opportunity to hear and look forward to what you're planning to share. And then after, we will look through our written comment. Is that what you were going to say? Let us know we had written comment. Thank you. So first, we will have Ashley Eckenberg. Welcome. And then second, we will have Cole Terry, if you could be on deck.
Good evening. My name is Ashley Eckenberg, and I am a teacher at Breen Elementary School, the mother to 2 incredible Rocklin students, and the wife to an amazing man who also happens to be a teacher in this district. I just want to talk about kindness and compassion. I know I teach my students to be kind and think about others. I know I teach my students about not judging others and trying to put yourself in their shoes. I know I teach my students to watch what you say before it comes out of your mouth, as you don't know who is around or who you might hurt. Well, let me tell you, I am so saddened by the state of our city. I have been fortunate enough to teach in this district for over 20 years and have always felt like we were part of a family in the city of Rocklin. But I am losing all faith in human kindness. I just wish people would think about what they say or actions they take before saying or doing them, as you don't know the impact it might have on someone other than yourself. I wish people would think about what others are going through and try to understand all sides. I love my job and have tried to do it successfully every day, but the inconsideration of others makes me wonder, do you realize what we are going through each day? Do you realize that I show up every day with a smile on my face to do what is best for my students? Again, as we go through this evening, try not to judge, even if we might disagree, and really think about your actions, as you aren't walking in another person's shoes and could never imagine what they are going through. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Cole Terry, welcome. I love that we have a student
having
here.
me.
Next will be Kurt Weidman.
Hello, my name is Cole Terry, and I'm a current junior at Rocklin High School. Last week, when the mask mandate was lifted for all schools in Rocklin Unified, I was actually very happy with knowing that I have the opportunity to not wear something on my face that did absolutely nothing to slow the spread of COVID in the first place. For the past year and a half, me and many other people in this community have felt that our opinions on wearing the mask didn't matter at all. We were forced into wearing it. Seeing our own governor and woke celebrities on social media go against corrupt mask policies that they advocated for in the first place is extremely hypocritical and goes to show that these people cannot be taken seriously. Many people also argue that masks are fully effective in protecting yourself from getting in contact with COVID. That is awesome. You can think that you are safe. If you believe you are safe, you should be fine with others choosing to not wear masks. When it comes down to it, it should be a choice if you want to wear it or not. We were silent for a year now, and now we are finally standing up for what we believe in, and I believe that working hard for something you want is extremely important in life. Many people were upset with the timing of the last school board meeting, but I looked at it in a different way. Seeing the hypocrisy in our California government and the severe restrictions that were put into place for so long, it was time for change in this school district. It was time for us to stand up and voice our opinions. It was time to take the step of advocating for our personal rights. With the case numbers going down drastically in California, it was the appropriate time to change to the option of a choice whether to wear it or not. On Monday of this week, several teachers decided to not come to school to teach in an act of protesting the previous meeting, and it left hundreds of students being forced to sit in the school cafeteria or gym with nothing to do. Many of my friends were in the gym or cafeteria for 3 or even 4 other classes, and I personally was in the gym for the last period of the day, and everyone around me was on their phones gaining nothing from going to school that day. I would like to thank all the teachers that actually decided to show up that day to fulfill their duty of providing an education to their students and who didn't let other people's differing opinions get in the way of their job, which is to teach. I am super proud of our board because they finally took the step to work with both sides. Our board isn't trying to divide us in any way, shape, or form. They gave every single student the option to do what they want with the mask and whether you feel you need to wear it or not. I respect anyone's choice to do what they want, and I feel we shouldn't be divided because of this decision, but I feel that we can finally move forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Cole. Kurt, and then Julie Kilkenny, you're on deck.
Okay, that's hard to follow. I think he totally crushed it. Okay, before I begin, I stand here amongst others in the room and across the world in full and unwavering solidarity with the freedom-loving people of the Ukraine against the evil onslaught and self-interest of the ultimate socialist, communist bully, Vladimir Putin. God bless and protect the President of Ukraine and the people of Ukraine. Next, as a member of the community, I would like to take this occasion to recognize and thank those teachers and staff that love teaching and love being in the classroom and demonstrated that this week in their classrooms. Their passion is in stark contrast to those union leaders and members who chose the politics of fear over teaching and freedom. In Rocklin, we love our dedicated teachers that show up each and every day. This week was a great tribute to themselves, their community, and to America as a whole. However, on Monday morning of this week, big labor union bosses pretend to represent Rocklin's teachers told members not to show up in the classroom and not to teach. There are even reports in some cases teachers were bullied into this behavior by their own union leaders. When teachers are whispering to us that they are with us as we visit schools and support our students and teachers, but are afraid to go public with their support of in-person student learning for fear of reprisals from big labor, you know that there's a real problem. We can all agree that it is critically important to pay teachers a good salary that is commensurate with their skills and their effectiveness with respect to teaching students in the classroom. Accordingly, this district just approved raises and special COVID pay, and this is how big labor repays and shows their appreciation. They repay by not showing up. Let me make one thing plain. I respect the right of workers in private sector to stay home. That is the definition of free enterprise. But being a public employee comes with certain responsibilities as a public servant. I come from a union family tradition, and indeed my father was a loyal union shop steward in the 70s and 80s. 100 years ago, my grandfather, as a child, worked in the coal mines of western Pennsylvania, along with his father, my great-grandfather, as new immigrants to America. Our family knows firsthand the benefit a union provides for advocacy and respect to legitimate dangerous jobs like policing, fire protection, nursing, and building trades. Our classrooms are not dangerous. They hold none of the risk of coal mine collapses, none of the risk of running into a burning bin, none of the risk of entering a house during a domestic dispute or a risk of a traffic stop. In other words, they're just as safe as a health club, where we came across one of our sick teachers on Monday. Obviously, I cannot mention their name. All the teachers need to show up in the classroom, just like the police have been showing up, just like the construction workers on our electrical grade and water treatment
Your
have
time is
showed
up,
up, just
Kurt.
like the nurses in our hospitals, the
Kurt,
grocery workers, the
thank
list goes
you.
on, just like everybody else.
Julie, come.
Unless you're a union boss, you
Kurt.
get the
Kurt.
picture. The
Thank
future
you.
of the
Kurt,
country and the
thank
public
you for your
schools need to
comments.
teach.
I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
We call on the union bosses
Thank you.
to step down from their petty politics.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'll try not to go over.
Julie, yes, please stay within your 3 minutes. That'd be awesome.
Yes.
Mike Murray, you're on deck.
Good evening, RUSD Board of Trustees, Superintendent Stock. My name is Julie Kilkenny, and I am a previous USD employee, a volunteer, and my greatest achievement to date, a parent. Finally, just a parent. I want to start off by saying thank you. Thank you for your time, dedication, and for being the ones that make all the hard decisions for RUSD. It is a difficult duty to take on it's a difficult duty that takes a special someone to handle. A special thank you to your own families and children for all the times you are away from them, working and continuing to help make RUSD the leader in educational excellence. Not only do your children have to share you with us, they also continue to be treated unfairly by teachers based on the decisions made by you and the role you play in RUSD. How does this foster the RUSD belief that every person deserves to be treated with dignity and respect, and that kindness and compassion are critical to positive relationships? What some people have failed to comprehend is that these are unique times for us all, which leads me to what went down on Monday with the teacher sick out. I understand the frustration of last week's meeting being scheduled during a week off for most staff and a week off for students. It was an emergency meeting. Is there ever a good time to have a meeting, let alone an emergency one? In case some don't know the meaning of emergency, according to the new Oxford American Dictionary, emergency means a serious, unexpected, and often dangerous situation requiring immediate action. Due to this emergency meeting taking place last week, some teachers, parents, and students were unable to attend due to prior commitments. It is my understanding that because of this emergency meeting being during a week off, feeling that it was purposeful timing, not purposeful timing, about 25% of the RUSD teachers engaged in a sick out that took place on Monday. Having previously been a principal secretary and the one that filled the subs each day, working countless unpaid nights and weekends to ensure my classrooms were filled with teachers each day, this is no easy task. Shame on you for doing this to your admin staff and for abandoning your students. There are many students that come to school for normalcy, and school is their only safe space. What you did to the students and staff on Monday was selfish, and all because you were unable to attend an emergency meeting. Lastly, I want to say thank you to the staff and subs that stepped up and continued to be there for the students and RUSD on Monday. We know who you are and are thankful for your grace and support for your students during this crazy time. It's time we come back together to support each other to get through these difficult and unique times.
Thank you, Julie.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Mike Murray. Mike Murray, and then Nicole Young.
Hi, I'm Mike Murray. I got kids at Cobblestone, live in Rocklin. Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. I wanted to say that I'm a little bit disappointed at the lack of adherence to the CDC guidelines. If you were sick on Monday, you should not be in the room tonight. That's putting us all at risk. I wanted to thank the wonderful teachers and staff of RUSD that showed up to work on Monday. You stood against the union in a coordinated attack on our kids' education, and it took guts. We thank you. I say it's a coordinated attack on our children because that's exactly what it was. Before scrubbing it off social media, far-left groups like Parents for Social Consciousness were sharing around a graphic to help organize the sick day. I do have the screenshots. Parents for Social Consciousness is a group that's really a group of bullies promoted by school board hopeful Jen Brookover. This group also has called for the end of Thanksgiving, the end of the Salvation Army, shared private videos of board members, and has consistently degraded the good people of Placer County based on skin color, political affiliation, and religion. The coordinated attack that went through that page and others on our children Monday was pretty much confirmed by the union boss email that went out yesterday. While he might deny it, Union Boss Travis has little credibility left. While he's enjoyed his 15 minutes of fame over the last 2 years, he's whined and complained, he's lied, he's cheated, and he's asked
Mike.
others to lie.
Mike, please.
He's been wrong every step of the way. He's also shown that there's no boundaries when it comes to decency. He's used the death of a teacher as a prop to attack this board. It's absolutely despicable, and it's actions of a bully. The latest attempt
Mike, I want to hear your opinion. I just don't want you to call names, okay?
I understand.
Okay, thank you.
And I'm not calling him a bully. I'm saying it's the actions of a bully because it was discussed earlier
okay.
about not treating other people with bullying actions. The latest attempt to manipulate is a skewed poll that was sent to the teachers. One of the questions was, what are you more offended by, the process or the result? On that poll, there was no option number 3. You had to choose option A or option B. And that's how fake news and fake statistics are made, when the teachers have to put that they're upset by the process or they cannot submit the form. The process that you guys did was legal, it was proper. They're mad because it occurred during their week of vacation. Most of the people here, they weren't on vacation last week. They had children that were at home and they were at work. Holding an emergency meeting during that time was not only appropriate but necessary with the changing dynamics of the pandemic. Look at the turmoil that happened in other districts. You kept up with the ever-changing COVID climate and the negative effects on learning. I'm going to cut off most of what I said because we had a little discussion back and forth, but I just wanted to say thank you to the board. You guys have done an excellent job, and I beg the teachers, please find a new ethical leader for your union.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nicole Young, and followed by Wendy Beal.
I have to move this kind of over because I'm really, really short. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Okay, I'm super short. I'm going to read this for another parent who did not feel comfortable reading in front of this crowd. She's a parent who has 2 children that attend schools in the district, and she would like to share what happened on February 18th at 2 p.m. Herself and another mom, Sarah, were standing across the street from the high school on the corner closest to Victory. We decided to bring signs to show our support for our brave high school students that were standing up for their rights of mask choice at the walkout. Our signs were not inappropriate. Stop the mask mandate and mask choice now. While standing with our signs, a white 4-door Jeep Wrangler pulled up to the stop sign closest to us leaving the school. A woman with curly blonde hair wearing a blue Rocklin hat and shirt rolled down her window. We quietly waved in her direction and smiled as we had been doing with every car that passed us by that afternoon. She shouted from her vehicle, "You know you both should go to the district to do this, not here." We responded nicely, "Yes, that is a great idea. We were just mentioning that we needed to do that, but we are here today to show support of our kids who texted us to let us know they were gathered on the football field for a walkout wanting mask choice at school." I can assume this was a teacher. She got very angry and began to yell louder, "You're wasting your time here. We don't have any control here. We don't make these rules here. The district has all the power." We responded nicely again, "Actually, you do have a say. Every teacher and student have power here to stand up and make a difference. All we want is choice." She screamed, "Your kids can't do anything about it, and you look like 2 effing idiots standing here with your stupid signs." As she abruptly sped off, she held up her sign and gave us the middle finger or the peace sign. It was hard to distinguish because she sped off so fast. We were a bit blown away at her response to us, just standing on a corner holding 2 signs. She approached us. She yelled at us. We couldn't believe that a teacher would be so unprofessional. If she feels it appropriate to cuss and yell at 2 parents, how does she react to students? So we heard a lot about maintaining a decorum of respect for others who had different opinions, and it just doesn't really feel like that's the attitude that a lot of people are showing tonight. I feel like everybody deserves respect, whether you choose to wear a mask or whether you choose not to, and whether you choose to exercise your First Amendment right and support your children who are also exercising their First Amendment right. Thank you.
Thank you. Wendy Beal. Wendy Beal will be followed by Ryan O'Donnell. Is it Beal? Okay.
Sorry. Good evening, Mr. Stock, and I'm a little flustered tonight, a little bit discouraged tonight, and to just gather my thoughts for a moment. I just want to thank the board. I have to say, this board has been phenomenal. I am with Moms for Liberty, Placer County, and what Nicole and I do is we do go to all of the board meetings to make sure that parents have rights in the district. They have a say at what happens in their district. And I have to say, this board has done a phenomenal job, and I'm just so thankful. Although, you know, we may not have agreed in the timing of the masking coming off, we know how hard this has been for all of you, and we just want to thank you. I can tell you that this board meeting is run so differently than other board meetings. It's actually ran the right way. The board is actually in control of this. Superintendent Stock, I believe you do an amazing job as well. And when I say that, it's also the audience. I've never gone to another board meeting in Placer County where the audience and the teachers come and it's so volatile and so just attacking board. I just haven't seen that in any other district. So this is a little bit different. The reason I am here tonight is because of the sick out. It's discouraging to see what had happened on Sunday night. My phone, Nicole's phone, our phones were blowing up with teachers and parents calling to let us know that what was coming and what was coming out. I do believe this was a coordinated event. But what I want to say is I'm also getting stories. These children are continuing to be abused by these teachers. One specific teacher, I'm not going to name names, at Granite Oaks, I believe,
It's okay.
At a school in Rocklin Unified. I have a 4-minute and 50-second verbal just going at these kids about how horrible they are for unmasking. Am I allowed to share a little bit of that? Okay, I'm not allowed to share it. I'm going to email it to you. Is that okay? Because the parent is absolutely going to be filing a grievance in regards to this. These children, they need to be able to go to school and they need to be able to make a choice. And I'm very, very thankful for this board for giving them that opportunity.
Thank you, Wendy.
Thank you.
Ryan O'Donnell will be followed by Ali Cameron.
My name is Ryan O'Donnell. I have lived and worked in Rocklin for over 20 years. I would say that I just work at Rocklin High, but it's much more than that. It is my passion. It is my identity. I am a teacher. As a teacher, there's a lot of things I have done. I've stood in my room at Rocklin High in front of 15-year-olds on 9/11 and tried to bring clarity and comfort. I have had to talk and grieve with students who have lost classmates from accidents and suicide. I've helped plan strategies for the district and planned my own teaching for over 2 years of virtual classrooms, distance learning, 4x4, AB schedules, and more. And I've had students see me sit at my desk and cry about the passing of my dear friend, Casey Nichols. And they have watched me cry with fear about my dear friend and Sam's dad and Ashley's husband, Dale Eckenberg's health as he fights for his life. I believe in relationships. I believe in kindness to others. I believe in the service of others. I believe in both rights and responsibilities. But there's also things I don't do and don't believe in. I don't use my position to share my religious beliefs. I don't use my time with them to promote my political viewpoints. And I don't bully students. Even though I assume I differ from many of you regarding my political and religious beliefs, I know we can meet in the middle. But lately, the middle seems to be drowned out by hate. hate from those who don't know what we do, hate from those who think that they can do our jobs better than us, hate from zealots, hate from online good neighbor style trolls. Like so many others who work here, in 21 years, I have seen school boards come and I've seen them go. We have had honorable men and women sit in those seats. And we have also had others who have used this role to push agendas and overstep their bounds. It has become glaringly obvious that some of us up here are doing just that. I hope you reflect back on tonight, not thinking that this is all about the masks. It is not. It is about not working with your partners. It's about not asking the student representative who sits here on the dais to join you. It's about rushing a meeting with full knowledge of the future changes by the CDC and governor days away. And it's also about not demonstrating empathy about our tragedies and just pushing to move forward with breaking the law. We are in a toxic relationship, but this is also a relationship that we can't split up. It can and most likely will in the short term remain toxic. But it can also improve. So many of my colleagues and I hope for this, and there's only one option at this point. We need new leadership. Leadership that is interested in rational, considerate, and respectful interactions and language, and both sides have not done this. This board appears to support and at times fuel those angry zealots. And on the other side, some of our union leadership serves out personal attacks and unprofessional language. I have watched both sides simply fail at leading. So all I can ask is that I hope for a new generation of
apologize, Ryan,
leaders.
your time is up.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ali Cameron will be followed by Sandra Lynch. Sorry, I did not see his time.
Another short person. All right. Hello, my name is Ali Cameron, and I'm a teacher at Whitney High School. I come before you tonight as a community member, a graduate of Whitney High School, and now a current teacher at Whitney. My two younger siblings also have graduated from Whitney. My younger sister is teaching with AmeriCorps in Bridgeport, Connecticut, and my younger brother is currently serving in the United States Navy. I can say with pride, thank you. I can say with pride that I love my community and I love my country. As a community and a country, we're hurting. These last 2 years have brought resentment and often hostility to the forefront of our discourse. I'm not here to debate hot topic issues or talk about the decisions that were made, but instead to plead with all of you, board members, teachers, community, to not give up on building bridges together rather than throwing stones at one another. One thing that I love about my students in particular is how unique they are. They are unapologetically themselves. In my classroom, I have students of different races, sexualities, religions, political beliefs, and identities. Ones that now in the last few days, some have chosen to wear a mask, some have not chosen to wear a mask. And I often find that the most enriching conversations in my class are the ones led by my students. They treat one another with respect and have demonstrated maturity. We can all learn from this example. My family moved my siblings and I here because of this school district. I owe in part who I am to my teachers that empowered me, and now many of them are actually in this room. One teacher that I would like to highlight specifically was Kim Decker, my avid teacher at Whitney. She believed in me, encouraged me, and when I didn't think I would amount to anything, she pulled me aside and she told me I would, and here I am. She passed away in 2015 due to cancer. I know that Casey Nichols also impacted his students the way that Kim Decker impacted me. And I know that Dale Eckenberg has also impacted his students and his community in the same way. Their lives and dedication are testaments to their character. We should all strive to be more like them and treat one another with decency, empathy, and respect. Thank you to the Eckenberg family tonight for sharing your hearts and being vulnerable and standing up and saying that some of the comments made at the last board meeting with people laughing and making jokes in the audience is unacceptable. I'm an English teacher, so I'd like to leave you with a quote from Atticus Finch. You never really understand a person until you consider things from his point of view. So let's try.
Thank you. Sandra Lynch will be followed by Georgiana Soria?
First, I want to thank the teachers and the substitutes who showed up February 28th and were there for our kids. I was there right along with you, even though I was beyond frustrated and heartsick to learn of what was happening Sunday night. Thank you to our board members who also stepped in to sub. It proves you are willing to walk the walk, not just talk the talk. I'm extremely disappointed in the teachers who did not show up and decided to use our kids as a political statement versus supporting them in their education. The sick out was not about safety or science. It was nothing more than political grandstanding. All you did was confirm that the politics mean more to you than our kids. Our PTA sent out a statement after the sick out and denied that it was a coordinated event. That was lie number one. 105 teachers from the district do not randomly call in sick on the first day back from a week-long break. You are kidding yourself if you think us parents believe that and apparently don't know your audience. Lie number two, you were blindsided by a special meeting held by the board during break. Have you been living under a rock this last month? I think it's been pretty clear with our elite elected officials who choose not to follow their own mandates during 2 packed football games with over 70,000 people in LA during a state of emergency, and our own kids and parents who peacefully protested the disproven science that a paper mask or a piece of cloth over their face is doing anything for the transmission of COVID in the classroom. We also have been seeing other school boards across the state, one being right in the city next door, who realize the mask narrative is crumbling and it's now doing more harm than good. Pretty sure you saw this coming, but it just made you mad and spiteful. Line number 3, the board has a lack of respect for the educators in Rocklin for making a mask enforcement change during this meeting. The board has been elected by the parents of this district to be our voice, so we, the parents, asked for the meeting. I personally wrote the board members every day the week before break requesting for our voices to be heard. They did what we asked. We asked for our kids not to be punished anymore for a mandate that made no sense. We asked they not be segregated, bullied, harassed, cards pulled, merits taken, tears cried, placed in a separate room, threatened with online schooling, left outside in the cold, made to feel as if they're some walking disease, and most important, not provided the equitable education that they deserve and that we are paying you for. If you aren't on board with that, then you shouldn't be a teacher. This was one small victory for our kids after 2 years, and you couldn't even let them have it. Nope, you had to call Travis for the temper tantrum, and that's what we saw. Our kids are our most prized possessions. I don't know a single parent who wouldn't fight tooth and nail for the well-being of their child. I don't need a scientific study to show that the anxiety, depression, mental health, and academic deterioration was real. I've experienced it in my own home. I've seen it while subbing on campus, and I've listened to countless others share their stories. If you don't have school-age children, then you don't have a dog in this fight. Screw the politics. Teachers, be mindful of who you choose to represent you. 2/3 of you made the decision to come to school and do what you do best, and we see you.
Thank you.
Please, someone,
Thank you.
find someone who knows and
For your
the
comments.
trust and respect goes 2
Georgiana?
ways.
Thank
and
you.
Sandra?
Thank you, Sandra.
I'm so
And
sorry.
does not instigate a us
Your
versus
time is
them.
up.
Thank you,
Thank
Sandra.
you. I'm sorry, your time is up. Georgiana? Georgiana will be followed by Matthew Oliver.
Good evening, board members. My name is Georgiana Soria. I attend Rocklin High School as a senior. Coming back from ski week was definitely shocking. I showed up to school on Monday to go to my first period class to receive a note on the door to go over to the gymnasium to receive news that I would spend the next 6 hours of my day sitting in there because none of my teachers had showed up to school. A day that could have gone to teaching went to waste. This does not help admin having to control hundreds and hundreds of kids when 30+ teachers do not show up. As a student, and speaking for a ton of my friends, these mask rules are pointless. They do not help stop COVID or spreading of it. If you are not wearing an N95 mask, the cloth mask and disposable mask you are wearing right now are pointless. As a senior, it is so frustrating to see that other schools, for instance, Roseville, get to enjoy dances inside, activities inside, and games inside. As a senior, we are looking forward to our last rallies, games, and dances to be in the gym, just how we started off high school in 2018. COVID-19. I also think it's ridiculous for teachers to want their students to be masked when they have the choice to vaccinate themselves and mask themselves, if you all believe that is what really works for you. I think it's unfair teachers get to choose what they want for their students when it should be to each its own. I think it's ridiculous teachers here are complaining that students are not wearing masks when my father might lose his job because he's choosing not to get vaccinated, and that's a choice he's going to stick with, and he's going to lose his job for. But teachers in here have the choice to stay and wear a mask or leave their job as well, if that's what makes them feel better. But to get to control and force thousands of students across Rocklin Unified Schools is unbearable. I also think for students that might be uncomfortable with other students not wearing masks, they have the option to go home and do online school. That has been an option for over a year now, and to punish thousands of students does not make it fair. In class, we wear masks, and once the bell rings, we go outside. I have not seen any students wear any mask outside. Clearly, students do not want to wear a mask. We need to realize this is not going to go on forever. As a senior, it would be very devastating to know I could not have my final rally, dance, and graduation due to mask policies. I believe we should respect each other's own choices. When are we going to get back to normalcy at Rocklin Unified? Let's do better for the children. Let's give them a choice. Thank you, teachers and board members.
Thank you, Georgiana. Matthew, Oliver. He'll be followed by David Husbein.
Matthew, Oliver, how are you guys doing? I'm normally streaming right now, but I had to take my phone down because I needed to write some notes. And I'm probably going to shock to a degree because I'm not going to pander to either side of politics, but just share something that is on my heart. I'll talk to you, but I really am talking to the teachers that have spoken and the teachers that are here tonight and probably those that are not. I want to take a moment and apologize. Apologize for being antagonistic. Apologize for falling for the trap of us against them. As I was walking around with my camera and filming earlier, a video that I've since deleted, I got stopped when I saw a teacher who taught one of my kids and realized there are amazing teachers in this room. Teachers that we united at one time over something I loved, my child. I know we have good teachers in this room because I think I'm learning something tonight. I am learning that there are things that are trying to divide us, but that there are more in this room that are working to unite us than I think many people realize. This past year, I've been called a rebel. And to be honest, I think I'm in a room filled with quite a few rebels. We might disagree on some ideologies, but we both are willing to stand up for what we believe on. At the end of the day, we're neighbors. We go to the same grocery stores. Our kids play at the same parks. And I'm proud and humbled by so many of you. As I was looking around the room, many of these teachers I've donated to your school fundraisers, to your classroom fundraisers. Before the pandemic, personally sending letters to every single educator throughout Rocklin saying thank you for all your hard work. I'm not going to allow politics to divide us. I'm going to work to unite us. I have a letter written by a teacher who dropped it off. Said, Mr. Oliver, I never met you. I, like many others, have watched you from a distance, but I'm messaging you now because I believe that you have a voice, and I need your voice. A voice where I have felt silenced and bullied. I'm a teacher at Rocklin Unified School District and have been so for over 15 years. And I've seen teachers band together and stand strong for what we felt were our rights. They go on to say that they are afraid, they've been bullied, they've been silenced, they've not been allowed to have a voice, but they appreciate your stance, our board members, for giving them a voice when they felt silenced.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. David Hosking will be followed by Jason Paletta. I'm giving it my best, guys. David.
Hello, board members, community. My name's David Hosbein.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I really mispronounced it. Go ahead.
Oh, it's a hard one.
Sorry.
But it's very easy with emails. None other like it in the
Okay.
country. I'm a parent. I live in Roseville. I have 2 children. I want to at least express the view kind of coming from somebody whose family's all doctors. My grandfather's a doctor. My dad's a doctor. My older sister's a doctor. My first cousin's a doctor. Thankfully, my older sister is my doctor. And from the beginning of this, she has provided the medical advice for me. She's an MD, she's a gynecologist, and she's a tremendous doctor. She lives in Grass Valley. And fortunately, I think that's why I've gotten good advice about what's effective and what isn't. And as I've learned clearly, the masks are not about the science, they're not about the medicine, they're not about transmission, it's all about politics. And there are many countries and cities in this country and states who have been through that. They haven't had masks for almost 2 years. So their kids are achieving educational excellence, which might be not being achieved here. I mean, this is not helping to see people, to see faces, to see expressions, to see us, who we are.
Please address the board.
Please address the board.
So, I mean, that's why I'm very happy and proud of you. I'm proud that the schools, everybody's been able to work together to take this off and move ahead. I appreciate all you've done. Thank you.
Thank you. Jason Paletta, followed by Jessica Rozak.
Thank you. So my name's Jason Paletta. I have three children that go to Rocklin Unified School District. But I want to start off with, what we tolerate, we encourage as parents. And that falls into the board of what you tolerate, you encourage, and it keeps going. And, I look at it like this. I've been a police officer for approximately 24 years. I'm still a police officer. And if, in fact, I were not to show up to work, or say my whole shift says, hey, we're not showing up to work today, we'd be fired. And then we have teachers that decide they don't want to show up to teach my kids, and then I get a phone call after I drop my daughter off at school saying, Dad, there's nobody here. There's like, everyone's in the gym. There's no classrooms. There's like 4 classrooms shut down. Do you know how furious I was with that? I was like, hey, hon, do you want me to come pick you up? She's like, no, I'll just stay here with my friends. I'll just wait it out. But where I'm going at with that is, accountability of the teachers. What gives them the right to use our kids as political pawns to make a point and not show up to school and teach them? Our kids are not going to school for social time. They're going to school for an education. And for me, as a parent, that's one thing that I'm not going to tolerate. It can be taken out of context, but you look at 1981 when you had the air traffic controllers walk out, and what happened? Ronald Reagan says, you're fired, because he told them to get back to work. Again, you can take that out of context if you want, but to me, that's almost the same thing. You don't just walk out and not do your job that you're hired to do. You are a public employee, and our kids deserve that, because just like everyone up here said, it's about the kids. It's not about the teachers, it's about the kids. And until that becomes one with everybody, our kids are going to be on the losing end of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. Jessica Rozak, followed by Courtney Weidman.
Thank you, board members. I wanted to say tonight, like many of us parents, thank you. Thank you for being leaders in this state and standing up for our children and doing what was right. And it's a little late, but better late than never at this point. Thank you for the teachers that showed up on Monday. You are the ones that really make the system work. The teachers that are sacrificing, that are putting themselves out every day to show up and help educate our children. I heard about the email that went out to the teachers, in regards to what the union was saying to the teachers and then the letters that were sent out to you guys regarding trust and respect. And I've heard trust and respect a lot tonight. I want to know where the trust and respect is from the union for the parents in the community. Where's the kindness when us parents have been locked out of all school activities, losing precious memories with our children for the last 2 years? You talk about kindness. When I'm here numerous times, children being berated and bullied and belittled by teachers. That's unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable as a professional. Unfortunately, the leadership of the local union has divided this community. It's divided the teachers and set them against the parents. It's gross. The union has played politics with our children's lives. They've sacrificed our children's emotional, physical, and mental health at the altar of control, union control. They've sacrificed 2 years of educational development for students, and they're responsible for dismantling that trust with the board and the community as well. I call on this board to establish a program to help support teachers and staff who want to escape the union's stranglehold and rise to be the best in their profession. We should support them with a clear pathway to leave the union, cast off the shackles of union dues and poor leadership, and reward generously those who are true experts at their craft. I come to you tonight, teachers, to say thank you, but you've been fooled by your union, and they've pitted you against us parents and this board. It's painfully clear you need new leadership and direction to earn our respect back. It's time to censor the leadership of your union and to move to elect new leadership. Stop letting them peddle misinformation and sow distrust. Let's come together again for our children, for the community. We parents have been asleep at the wheel for a little while, but we've come to one reality with this pandemic. We've pulled the curtain back and we've seen the little man behind the curtain pulling the levers.
Jessica, thank you.
Thank you.
Your time is up. Courtney Whiteman is up. Joan Valdez. You know what? This isn't helpful. Please. We've got to demonstrate that we can do this for our kids, for our community. Everyone can have an opinion. I don't want any names called out. Please. No whispering. I can't hear you guys anyways. Please, be respectful. Courtney, are you here still?
She had to leave to get her kids. She wants to yield.
Okay. Any other students? Otherwise, we're going to Joan Valdez, who will be followed by Mark, I think it's Kiara. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm a mother of 2 here in Rocklin, 1 elementary, 1 middle school. I'm a voter in Rocklin. I'm a teacher. I am not a public speaker, and those who know me know that this is not where I live right here. I will talk in front of kids all day. I email you, but this is not where I want to be. But I'm tired. I'm really tired of listening to board meetings where my fellow teachers are dragged through the mud, where we're pretending like we're in LAUSD or something, where I lived at a time. Our teacher union is not orchestrating all of these events. It's really kind of ridiculous to hear the us versus them mentality that's coming up, to hear the whispers even now, the disrespect. I'm really tired of being ignored and unheard and marginalized. I'm tired of hate and assumptions that because I'm a teacher I feel a certain way, or because I have a mask on, that I have certain political beliefs, which I don't. I'm tired of excuses. If parents want to help remedy this situation where teachers aren't there and there's no subs, please sign up. It is actually not hard to become a sub right now. Board, I like hearing this time you shutting down some of the disrespect. It's not something that I've heard in many of the board meetings. I don't come because I had a grandfather that was sick. He's passed away this past month. So I feel more comfortable to be out in the community, whereas before I was not allowed to see him because he was very vulnerable. Please continue along the path of encouraging kindness, because I feel like there's a very vocal minority that's emboldened by what they perceive as being wins. I also have to tell you, I was very disappointed in seeing the meeting come up last week at the last minute. I really wish that maybe you could have emailed the staff, the parents. We do a lot of communication here in Rocklin, and I really feel like the board could have done better with reaching out and letting us know, because I found out the day of, after 4, and I came, but you went to closed session as I showed up. So I really would like you to consider better communication. I also want you to consider the impact on the classrooms. The vague policy that was sent out was very, very confusing for my students and for the parents. Thank you.
Thank you, let's see, Joan, yeah. Mark Cuerva, followed by Roxana Barrientos. Let's go with, let's see here. We have Mark. Are you Mark? No. Okay, let's have Mark first. I apologize. But you're on deck. You're next. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for following the science. Allowing our children to remove their masks is a really important step. It's extremely important in their development. Before I moved to Rocklin 20 years ago, I used to be a submarine pilot. And as a submarine pilot, we would turn down the oxygen levels to get the people to calm down and settle down. We would turn it up to get them excited again. This is called hypoxia. Hypoxia is something that happens when you're wearing that mask, right? And so I'm sure as a teacher, hypoxia is advantageous in a classroom when you want a bunch of teens and young children to settle down in there and not be so rambunctious. It makes your job easier. It makes your life easier. But not for my child. My child is my primary concern here, and I did fail to mention that my child goes to a high school here in Rocklin, and I live here in Rocklin. But you board members have a fiduciary responsibility to us parents. Ultimately, you're responsible for delivering a good quality education and experience for our children. Individual teachers can impact that experience as well, but really, I have a lot of teachers that tell me about what they're doing for my child and everything, but you're really only with my child for 8 months. You don't have the right to tell me how to parent based on an 8-month experience with someone I'm spending the rest of my life with. I cut their umbilical cord. You know, this just doesn't work. It doesn't fly. Beyond that, the teachers have their professional associations or their unions. And we as parents, we have no obligations or agreements with those groups. None whatsoever. Our agreement is with these folks up here who represent the government that takes our money for our children's education. Our responsibility or our obligation and all of our communication is with these folks. Individual teachers, they're contracted by the government to deliver the curriculum adopted and approved by this board. Separately, teachers' associations operating as political groups have begun to deem us as parents as hostiles. 90%, and I must say, more than 60% of the teachers, I'm just guessing, from looking at the back, have left already. The parents, they're all still here. And I'm going to tell you right now, parents, we got this.
Thank you, Mark. Your time is up. Mark, your time is up. Roxana
Clearly,
Variantos.
the masks are political.
Mark,
Everyone
I'm
in this
so
room
sorry.
knows
I
these
have to
masks
be
are not
fair to
protecting
everyone.
anyone.
I have to be fair to everyone, and so
Oh, yeah?
everybody has 3 minutes. I'm sorry.
Okay, so,
I'm sorry, but you're welcome to send us an email or give us a call.
yes, everyone in the room can take
Thank
all
you.
their masks and put it on
Roxana
one person,
Variantos.
and they would still not be
Mark,
protected.
Thank you, Mark.
Please.
Roxana?
Roxana, we are so excited to hear from you. If you would keep it under 3 minutes, that would be great. Thank you.
Good evening. I have two boys in Rocklin. One is a TK student at Sunset, and the other one's a first grader at Valley View. I'm not here to judge or disrespect anyone. I support everybody's freedom of choice. I'm just simply a mom with the need to be the voice for my kids. I speak for my kids. We as parents have the right to decide what is best for our children and our families, nobody else. I have been around many wonderful teachers and have met wonderful teachers at Valley View, and I love them. I do anything to support them, and I've asked them, what can I do to help you? What can I do to support you? What more can I do to be there for you? And they said, just being here helps. I joined PTC, I'm the room parent, I volunteer in everything I can to show my support to them. What I don't support is the fear that gets put on our children for not wearing a mask or not wearing the mask properly. My son has been having breathing problems, so sometimes he puts it down, and if someone comes, like a student or somebody, you're not wearing your mask right, you gotta put it back on. Now he's scared to go to school. When I told him that he has the choice now to either wear a mask or not, he cried. He said, "Mommy, I can finally breathe at school." And I said, "Yes, you can." He was so happy. He was happy to go back to school. And he said, "For the first time, I see everybody smiles. I see my friends smile, and that makes me smile." So instead of focusing on the mask and fighting, we should focus on children's education. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mike Hamilton will be followed by Carrie Hamilton. This is our, this will end our first 20 speakers, so after this, we'll go to 1 minute per speaker. So you guys are number 19 and 20, so if you guys could finish up, that would be great. Mike, and then Carrie.
Got a tall guy. All right, first I'll start by saying hi, Mom. Good evening, my name's Mike. I am a tenured citizen of this town. I'll first start by saying thank you to the board. Thank you for having a spine. Thank you for listening to your constituency, and thank you for doing the right thing. Second, thank you to you teachers, for the most part. Thank you to those who continue to show up for our kids day in and day out, regardless of the circumstances. They say you don't want to mess with the mama bear. I've heard that a lot lately. Well, I think part of that's because if you mess with the mama bear, at least in my house, you're going to get the daddy bear too. So here I am. For 2 long years, I've watched society, including the community, become more and more divided. I typically try to stay out of people's business, but when their business interferes with my business, especially my kids, I say something. I'm not going to sit on the sideline. I'm not going to listen to the pandering because we feel the need to cater to the minority. I tell my kids, before complaining, think about offering a solution instead of more problems. We're all really good and super tough when it comes to posting on social media, but the reality is most of us are spineless and simply hide behind our keyboard. Well, I'm here tonight to tell you that I'm not one of those. I'm here to support the board, and you have it. I'm here to support the teachers that want to continue doing what they signed up for. Most of those teachers are here tonight are, quote, tenured. What that tells me is you've been through a pretty good amount of flu and cold seasons. If so, you're welcome. You just had a 2-year sabbatical from it. A quick note on the root of this battle is masks. Some say it's the law. Not quite. It's a choice. Even if it were a law, we're all now strict rule followers. Well, without getting too far into the weeds, your driving habits alone beg to differ that you're such a strict follower of the law. Some of the biggest advocates, the biggest enforcers of masks, well, they're also the biggest offenders, the biggest hypocrites, them and their children. They rant, they poke fun, they mock. Yet a brief peek at their social media and crossing their paths in public will reveal quite a contrary lifestyle to their professed passion for their stance. Interesting how the narrative has switched so quickly from masks now to respect. Convenient that this change follows the governor's announcement that he's taking away the mask argument crutch on March 11th. I venture to guess these passionate soldiers will continue to don their protection, or will they? I doubt it. Can we just please move on and get back to teaching and investing in our kids without a filter? Thank you. God bless.
Thank you, Mike. Carrie Hamilton will be followed by Amanda Dixon. Go ahead.
Hi, it's Carrie Hamilton. I live in Rocklin. I have a sixth grader and a high schooler. There's approximately 675 teachers in Rocklin Unified. Roughly 155 sat out on the sick out day that the union organized. Just 23% of our teachers, hardly a majority. I'd like to point out that all those teachers did by not showing up was to deprive the students from valuable teaching time. If they are truly professionals and their career goal is to enrich children's lives through education, they should have shown up and done their jobs. Several teachers didn't even leave agendas for their students. Not only did they deprive students from learning, they created more work for those teachers that showed up to teach. Even in the union's letter to the teachers, they said thank you to our colleagues who chose to attend work on Monday and take the extra work that was created. In my profession, creating extra work for my colleagues would not be considered professional. To the 77% of Rocklin teachers that showed up on Monday, thank you. And I urge you to stick up for yourself and go against these crazy union ideals. You are the ones that can undo the division this union is creating and can help get RUSD back to the family feeling it used to have. You are the ones that can fight for new union leadership. Our kids don't feel respected. They feel abandoned by their teachers. I am beyond disappointed in the 23% of teachers participating in these shenanigans. If you don't want to teach, find another job. There are plenty of talented, passionate teachers out there that would gladly take your place.
Thank you, Carrie. Okay. We're now moving to 1 minute public comment, first with Amanda Dixon, then Justin Johnson. Is Amanda here? Yeah, you're up. Sorry, it's kind of hard to hear over the clapping. Justin Johnson is next. You have 1 minute, Amanda.
Oh, I'm short too. Jesus. Hi. Good evening. I'm Amanda Dixon, Sagittarius, wife and mother here in Rocklin with two boys ages 4 and 6. My 6-year-old currently attends Rocklin Elementary. I'm on the site council and PTC and room rep. Did anyone catch the Super Bowl held here in California? Not a single mask in sight. I hate to sound like a broken record, but we are breaking these kids. Masks are and should be a choice without fear of punishment, same as vaccines. An individual choice. I am one of the lucky ones who has the option to pull my children if this nonsense continues, but I, along with others, will not back down and will not stop fighting until this political menagerie ends. Thank you to everyone on the board for listening and doing the right thing, and thank you to the teachers for showing up for our kids. We will always have your back for all you've done. God bless
Amanda,
and bring on allergy
thank you so
season.
much. Justin Johnson will be followed by Jeff Wax. It's a quick minute.
Timer start. Can we get a pizza? I'm kind of hungry. But really, I'm here to represent kids at Valley View. You know, we've watched a lot of this go on for 2 years. We've been quiet on the sideline. You know, actually, I forgot to say one thing. I respect the teachers that walked out on Monday, and I know that goes against some people here. But I was out there protesting the last week, and I've actually talked to my kid to not wear a mask for a week before all this started. So I respect the teachers to show their opinion. I want to get that in. But most importantly, these kids don't have a voice. They're in kindergarten, they're in 1st grade, they're in 2nd grade. My 5th grader can barely verbalize to me what is happening to them. Over the intercom on Monday, my kids are getting told to wear a mask by the principal, after their parents have coached them that, hey, you have the right to not wear it. That sounds like enforcement to me. I want you guys all to know that that's what's happening, and nobody, or at least I haven't heard that represented
Thank you,
here
Justin.
yet tonight. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Jeff Wax will be followed by Emily Thomas. Jeff Wax. Emily Thomas. Okay, that will be fine. Jeff Wax. Go
Hi,
ahead.
sorry, I prepared for 3 minutes. I'll make it really quick.
Thank you.
I'm Jeff Wax, resident of Rocklin, parent of an elementary school. I'm here, I support choice. It's an American way, but I'm not here for that issue. I'm here to keep the rallies off the school property. On a particular occasion at Valley View, I observed some motor schools driving up through the parking lot. The school principal, who has to be commended here, asked them to leave. They did so. And by the way, all those participating in this rally were peaceful, except for these two motor scooters, in my opinion, the people on them. I tried to think of a way for the principal and the school district to avoid this problem. It was a problem in my mind for 3 reasons. One was that it was disruptive of the ingress and egress of the students. The motor schools were up close to our
Thank you, Jeff. Thanks for
children.
bringing that to our attention. If you'd like to go ahead and email the rest of your comments to us, that'd be great.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you so much. Ally, do you want to read?
I can synthesize it really quick. It was a really nice written comment, and I'm sure that they will email it to you, but I can synthesize basically what was said in it. What my colleague was concerned about was, again, she had written a comment about the treatment of the Eckenberg family and the Nichols family at the last board meeting, of people in the audience that were mocking and shouting out things and whispering hurtful things about these families, and that she felt this was unacceptable, and she specifically gave the analogy of, in our classrooms, if people are bullying each other, then we would be expected to take care of that. And ultimately, that behavior should not be acceptable. I have seen, personally, this is me speaking now, change at this meeting. Thank you for shutting down hateful comments. Both sides of any argument need to be respectful of one another and be kind to each other. So thank you. They'll email you the comment.
Okay, thank you so much. Shannon Cantanella, is she still here? Shannon, I didn't see you. And then followed by Rachel Turner.
Hi, good evening. I have a question. Did the community notice that the 3 schools impacted most by Monday's teacher strike were the 3 sites directly connected to the teachers and their families, suffering from COVID complications, and they are actively mourning? And I want to know where humanity is for any of those people. Monday's mass absence was a result of the way things were mishandled by this board, by this community, by this district. Meanwhile, that day, kids started feeling emboldened, and the week before were ripping masks off of other kids' faces at Springview Middle School. They were then doing it again and bullying them when they came back on Monday. So you have problems of apparently students being told to put their mask back on, but then other kids are running around because they saw people protesting and screaming at them that they can do what they want, and they were ripping the masks off their faces. I'm upset about the lack of engagement with teachers and the vilification. I'm standing up for the union, as I've always stood on these steps during their negotiation periods, and I also strongly disagree with the members of Moms for Liberty and Similar
Shannon,
Pages for attacking teachers.
Thank you, your time
Thank
is
you,
up, I'm
Shannon.
sorry. Rachel Turner.
They're on the FBI watch list.
Please email us the rest of your comments. Rachel Turner will be followed by Sylvia Bond.
Hello, my name
Hi.
is Rachel Turner, and I would like
You guys,
to
just a
represent-
second, please.
Ladies and
Yeah, I'd
gentlemen,
like my time.
ladies and gentlemen, please be respectful.
Thank
Go ahead,
you.
Ms. Turner.
So I'd like to represent special education because that is not brought up very often, and it is huge. You tout educational excellence, but you are losing your teachers. You are losing your special ed teachers. We are drowning in caseloads, paperwork, and navigating these health measures with students in class who are immunocompromised, and some of them cannot be vaccinated. When we reach out, nothing is done. We're asked to lean on our other colleagues and our other tired teachers and my aides that get paid little as students working at Chick-fil-A at an entry-level job. It's not right. On top of daily challenges, I heard about the board meeting held without teacher knowledge, and it just makes me feel like I'm not heard even more. I love my job, I love my students, I love special ed, but I cannot keep going like this in a district where I'm unsupported. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. Sylvia Bond will be followed by Carrie Motley.
I'm so sorry, Sam. I'm sorry that you had to hear the words that you had to hear after such a heartfelt plea to do what is right and for bravely sharing your current situation. I'm sorry that you did not get the recognition or care you should have received for sharing. Instead, you first heard words of intent, my decision, and even sports. And finally, that making a decision that would result in our district being quote-unquote first was more important than your situation and more important than what the students and staff are going through. Stay strong and continue to proudly represent your amazing family by always being brave to stand up and to always be respectful in doing what is right. You need to know, Sam, that many of us support you and your family, and we hear you. To the board, stop it. Stop making decisions that's disrupting the class and the time. The teachers have adjusted and adjusted and adjusted enough. Let them finish the year without any more changes. And as far as ownership of the sit-out, that was half of the situation. The other half was the decision. If that decision was not
Thank you,
made,
Sylvia. Your time
that
is
lack
up.
of learning would not have
Carrie
happened.
Motley. She'll be followed by Roxy Rice.
Hi there, I'm a mom of 4 boys in elementary, middle, high school, and a graduate from last year. Thank you to all my son's teachers over the years. We truly appreciate your devoted time day after day and year after year. To the board, thank you for making the move to demonstrate to California that children and youth safely thrive better without masks. I'm grateful science has seen effectiveness and ineffectiveness of masking options, and the CDC and California have moved to follow the science of these infection and hospitalizations. It is a challenging disease that has been difficult on so many levels. Quarantining and masking began to flatten the curve of widespread fatalities. It is tragic that there is not a way to eliminate COVID or guarantee a vaccine will be effective for all. It is hard to disagree with communities, families, and friends. Across the country and in this room, I know many people whom I respect and whom have varied personal circumstances and opinions. Despite these differences, I hope we can begin to move forward. COVID seems to be around to stay, and I appreciate your action as soon as it was possible.
Thank you, Carrie. Last, Roxy Rice.
Hello, my name is Roxy Rice. I'm an interested community member. I swore that when my kids wouldn't be disciplined for me speaking up, I would speak up on behalf of the other parents, because they come here in fear that their kids are going to be disciplined by the teachers who saw them speak tonight. And so with that in mind, I still speak. I'm a voice for the children. The teachers who aren't putting politics above principles are not the issue. The students are not the issue. The parents are not the issue. The board is not the issue. Politics are the issue. The main source of these politics at Rocklin Unified School District and many other school districts are the unions. Unions are not part of academic governance, even though some governance issues are contractual, mask mandates are not. Who, however, is
Roxy,
part
I'm sorry, your time is up.
of this governance on mask and
Roxy,
discipline tactics
can you
are the
please
parents and the students.
Thank you. Go ahead and
And
say
this
your
elected board by the
Thank you.
parents and the
Sorry, your
community.
time is up. Thank you. Okay, that concludes our public comment. The board will now take a few minutes to read through the written public comments. Ladies and gentlemen, we are still in our board meeting. We're going to return to our board meeting. If you could just keep the volume a little bit lower, that'd be helpful. Thank you. We're almost done reading our written comment. Trustees, on to item number 11.1, pending agenda items. Do you have any items to be placed on the pending agenda? Okay, seeing none, the meeting is adjourned to closed session.